My name's Paul Shelley, and I'd like to welcome you to the AstroHistorian, and welcome to another System Survey. This is a sub-series where I look at specific systems and planets in sci-fi universes and discuss their impact on lore. This system survey is on one of the oldest and wildest systems of humanity, Banshee. Before I get started, I want to personally thank y'all for your continued support. We are growing faster than ever before, and it has all to do with y'all spreading the word. If this is your second time enjoying one of these videos, then you should hit that subscribe button. And if you really like this, then you should hit the bell to be notified exactly when these come out. With that said, let's look at the Banshee system. The story of Banshee dates back to 2317, less than 50 years after the discovery of the first jump point to Croshaw. Humanity was still divided amongst the various nation-states of Earth, though that was starting to change with the creation of the World Summit, a group of nations that banded together to help make space exploration and colonization beyond Sol a reality. One such endeavor was the Forest system. Only the fourth system to be discovered by humanity, the World Summit had allowed the Tradmor Terraforming Concern to attempt to terraform the third planet known as Hyperion. As a result, the system was crawling with contractors of all kinds, who had very little to do in their free time, as the process of terraforming was a long one, and not many forms of recreation were sent out with these masses of workers. Many of these workers were jumpers, which are a loose association of space travel enthusiasts who often took jobs on the frontier to be where the action was. However, the dream of every jumper was exploration and discovery, especially of jump points, to go from enthusiast jumpers to professional nav jumpers. So these jumpers who worked on contract with Tradmor found a way to pass their time, exploring the forest system. This group called themselves the Imram Association and was spearheaded by Aldiz Danyan. As they explored more and more, contractors joined them, spending their off hours patrolling and mapping the area. One day, Danyan calmed back to the group that she found a mysterious pocket of radiation, likely X-ray and gamma rays, in the middle of nowhere, and was going to investigate. The IA followed up to help her search the area she reported, but found no trace of her. No debris, wreckage, or even traces of her travels, just the weird pocket of radiation. The IA group came to the conclusion that she must have found a jump point, which was the source of the radiation. It's important to note that pockets of radiation aren't common signs of jump points, but if the other side of the jump point has that radiation, it's likely traveling through interspace and into the other side of the tunnel. When Danyan didn't return soon afterwards, the IA grew nervous and contacted the World Summit to request a military Pathfinder unit be dispatched to find the jump point and their missing member. However, it would take time for them to arrive, and when they did finally show up and discover the jump point, they made a terrible discovery. This new system was home to a violent pulsar, spewing immense amount of radiation. The team never found any evidence of Danyan's ship, and it was believed that when she emerged from the jump point, her ship was destroyed or disabled by a pulse flare from the star before she could react, and this would cause her to drift into deep space. This wasn't the first loss of life in extrasolar exploration, but it was the first time someone died while discovering a system. Being very conscious of the sacrifice, the World Summit credited Danyan with the discovery and allowed the Imram Association to name it. They decided to name it after Danyan herself, naming the system after the nickname she had while playing Sadaball in college, Banshee. It would be a fitting name, as the system was far too dangerous for casual exploration. The World Summit, and eventually its more global successor, the United Nations of Earth, banned any travel in the system, and didn't even truly announce its discovery to the public, simply logging its existence. The government did not want to deal with the headache of controlling and terraforming this dangerous pulsar system. Pulsars are rapidly spinning neutron stars that are formed after the collapse of the star when it went supernova. The star begins to spin and shoot out radiation from its magnetic axes. There are many types of pulsars, though based on the description, it is likely that Banshee is an X-ray pulsar, as it is said that it is extremely risky to perform EVA maneuvers in the system, as the radiation flares would kill even the most protected person. The fact that it's the only pulsar discovered with a jump point thus far has led to the theory that pulsars themselves collapse their jump points in the process of their slow decay, a theory that has scared many people away from Banshee over the years. The system has 4 planets, the first being Banshee 1, a dwarf planet near the rapidly rotating white-blue star. It is far too dangerous to explore, but does have a few pockets of resources for those who are adventurous. Like Banshee 1, Banshee 2 is very close to the star, and thus massively irradiated, though it does possess an iron core similar to Earth. Banshee 4 is an ice giant that orbits far away from its central star. Banshee 3 is the perfect distance from the star to be reachable, and is absolutely filled to the brim with valuable resources. However, its surface is entirely inhospitable to life and not able to be terraformed. Banshee 3 was the reason for a growing number of people who began to demand the system be opened up for settlement. By 2530, overpopulation was becoming a cataclysmic problem on Earth once more. Resources were running short and arable land in short supply. An effort was made to get people to move to the newly terraformed worlds of humanity, which was working, but the resources were still in high demand, and Banshee 3 had what humanity needed. It took a lawsuit filed against the now United Planets of Earth government to lift the ban. The landmark case, Minto vs. UPE, decided that the UPE did not have the authority to ban settlement of a system. This is the precedent that prevents the government from banning travel into Vanduul systems today. While this allowed public and private concerns to truly explore the system, they found that it was nearly impossible to establish a base of operations on Banshee 3, and thus the riches of the world were still unreachable. However, during the First Tavaran War, Persei-based UPARQ developed massive magnetic coils designed to weaponize solar electromagnetic radiation. This project would fail, but the company realized that their coils would be perfect to collect energy from the violent pulsar Banshee. Combining this energy collection with autonomous mining rigs, the UEE was able to dig massive subterranean shelters to protect people from the effects of the star and access those valuable resources. These same coils would then be used to power the continued efforts to live under the surface and extract the resources of this world. The planet would soon be named Llorona, which is Spanish for weeping woman, possibly a reference to the Latin American folktale of La Llorona. The surface still requires humans to wear protective radiation suits to travel on, but once you get deep enough underground, what's called going below the line in local slang, you can live normally. So settlements have sprung up just below the line, connected by vast tunnel networks which ring the entire planet. These settlements were built in the mine tunnels after the main excavations cleared the area of any usable resources, and are often ad hoc settlements by pioneers. Some are willing to interact with outsiders, but many more simply wish to be left alone and use the remote system as a way to practice more unorthodox beliefs. Almost overnight, the Banshee system went from being too dangerous to even traverse to becoming a vital hub of resources for the entire empire, with resources flowing out to commercial and industrial hubs all over the galaxy, from metals to the short carbon for diamond laminate for spaceship cockpit glass. This status even got it representation in the UEE Senate, an accomplishment very few systems have achieved. The named settlement is named Shelley, and is the largest subterranean settlement in the universe. Because of its status as the main spaceport for the system, it has become a moderately wealthy city, housing everything you can find in any other busy settlement in the Empire, from fast food to fine dining. In fact, the settlement has its own signature delicacy, the Botremp. It is a sweet and savory puff pastry made from a native yeast strain that has a unique, tangy taste. Banshee 4 even had an attempt to harvest it for heavy water by Sanote Concern, but failed, causing the company to go out of business, proving that even if there is money to be made in Banshee, it remains a hard place to live and work. Banshee and its people are best described from this quote from its senator, Junger Riles. Take the worst, most awful place in the verse, and you can be damn sure there's not only someone who wants to live there, but will think you're crazy for wanting to live anywhere else. These are my people. That was the history and lore of Banshee. I hope you enjoyed our look at this rich and deadly system. If you did, remember to tap the like button and tell your friends in order to spread the word. I'd also like to thank those Patreons on screen now for helping me make this all possible. If you want to join them, the link is in the description. For as little as $5 a month, you get early access to videos, including a timed exclusive covering the entire history of the Star Citizen universe, whose first episode has recently been released to the public. Check it out now to see what $5 a month will get you. For now, let me know what system you want me to cover in the comments below. And as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra.